So now I am going to turn it back over to you, Judy, in a second. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So we're back up here. And I would like to welcome everybody to the Central Kentucky Computer Society Tech Night and introduce you to Judy Taylor. It's my pleasure to introduce her tonight to you all. She's been involved in the world of technology for decades. As a distinguished member of the APCUG Speakers Bureau, Judy plays a pivotal role in the International Association of Technology and Computer Users Group, an organization dedicated to supporting member groups worldwide. And from what I see, she's truly the driving force behind APCUG, leading with vision and dedication. Judy brings to this position an impressive list of accomplishments, a valued member of the Santa Clarita Value Computer Club for over 30 years. She's worn many hats, serving as president, editor, and webmaster, and probably a few more. Her commitment to education is reflected in her 20+ years of teaching adult education tech classes through her local high school district. Moreover, Judy has been seen as a key figure in the Southwest Technology Conference held in San Diego for 23 years. Her expertise and insights have significantly shaped the event, making it a cornerstone of tech knowledge sharing. Additionally, Judy lends her expertise to the Pierce College Computer Application and Office Technologies Advisory Committee, contributing to the annual discussion on courses and hardware for the upcoming school year. Judy Taylor is a fountain of knowledge, ready to share her wealth of experience with us. Tonight, she will enlighten us on the crucial topic of safeguarding our digital world through the importance of backing up data. Without further ado, I'll turn over the program to her. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you very much. Nice introduction. Was that an AI introduction?
AI did help.
I'm noticing that not yours, but people with groups with newsletters, a lot of the authors are using AI. And it's interesting to know how much more polished their articles are.
Yes, it is amazing. I write it and then I ask AI, give me some ideas, and then they rewrite it and I think, I thought it was a pretty good article to start with.
Yep.
And then I won't do it completely because some of their stuff is really pat, and it sounds that way. But yeah, it usually sounds better after they've had a stab at it.
Yeah. At the Pierce Junior College meeting a couple of years ago, when they get to the technology part at the end, we're talking about just instructors, department heads, etc. They all turn towards me at the end of the table, the little old lady with the white tennis shoes. I get the biggest kick out of that. And I mean, okay, what are you going to tell them this time? And we're talking about, if they should upgrade their equipment and, what's out there in the business world. Well, luckily, I have one kid who is responsible for the UCLA Health Employee Database with her HRIT team, and the other gal's an educator. And I learn so much from giving presentations and reading newsletters and going to websites that I do have stuff to talk about. And one guy said, he was a department head, and he said, really want to do something with AI, but I don't know, And I said, do you have your students do resumes? It was a business communications class. And he said, yeah, it's the last activity for the semester. And I said, well, why don't you ask them to put their resume together, bring it in, and then choose whatever AI app you want and have them use AI to do their resume and give them the points that you want to be covered. And oh my, he thought that was the greatest thing that ever came down the pike. And I said, I got that suggestion by reading the Lorain, Ohio Computer Club's newsletter. And their president had put her high school grandson's resume together using AI, and it had come out very nicely. And you can imagine high school graduates don't have much work experience, but she was quite pleased with it. And I thought, just seg that in there and make it neutral. But I mean, he was just so excited. It was incredible. And I thought, well, score one for the old lady. Anyway, we're going to talk about backing up. How many people back up? Shame, shame, the rest of you. Oh my, oh, that's my soapbox. We all need to be backing up some way or the other. Share my slides. And I have the World Backup Day graphic up here because
Yes.
that is March 31st. And so if nothing else, you people that don't, you ladies that don't back up, maybe by March 31st, when the whole world is supposed to be backing up their data, you can join them. And I am Judy Talor, and we are going to talk about why in the world do I need to back up? Come on, really? Well, it's extremely important. You don't want to lose your data. You have hardware failure, you delete something, oh my goodness, I didn't really mean to do that. Some kind of theft comes about via email or you're online, you get malware and natural disasters. In Santa Clarita, where I lived for 47 years, the electricity on my street was off for 10 hours. And I'm sorry, 100 hours. And so the guy across the street told me, and they were waiting for the fire to come by. And I've had them come right behind my house and burn part of the house up. So there are natural disasters that can, you know, take a lot of our stuff away. And if something happens, if you have a backup, everything is there for you to restore your data. And I got a phone call one time from one of my son's best friend's wives, and she said, Mrs. Talor? And I said, yes. And she said, I turned my computer on and it's just black on the screen. I don't know what to do. And I said, do you back up your hard drive? And I had worked with her setting this up. Husband didn't care about computers. She had this, and very basic. And she said, you know, somebody gave me, you know, one of those things that you can plug in. And I said, an external hard drive? And she said, yes. And she had gotten it for a Christmas present. And she said, I've been meaning to call you so you can come down and set it up for me. She lost all of the photos of their two darling, blonde, blue-eyed daughters. From the time they were born, they were gone. And I found a restoration place where she could send it. They said, sorry, we cannot get anything back for you. So they only had the photos that friends and relatives could send them, that they had, you know, emailed to them. So think about something like that happening. You don't want that to happen. If your data isn't that important, at least your photos usually are. And it saves you time and money because she had to pay $100 to try to restore it and nothing happened. So think about backing up. What does it do? It makes sure all your important files, your documents, your spreadsheets, your, you know, tax information, everything that is on your hard drive has someplace else. And we do accidentally delete things sometimes and get in kind of a semi-panic and don't realize that, oh, hey, maybe it's in the recycle bin. And you know, it goes from there. So you listen to the news you read the newspaper, you get emails from people about the cybersecurity threats that are out there. It is merciless. Back in the day, we did not have to worry about things like this. And now this should be one of the things we think about most when it comes to our technology, whether it's your computer or your smartphone. And then there's the ever popular ransomware. And that comes along and somebody tries to, let you know that you go, oh, I can't access my documents. Oh, what is wrong? And you hear from an entity and they have gone in with some virus, ransomware, and everything's locked. They want money. The FBI says, please don't pay them because you really don't know if you're going to get anything back. If you have a backup, you say buzz off, guys, and you're good to go. You might get a new computer. And do you really want to copy, one by one, your documents over? If you have a backup, you just plug in your external hard drive after you get your new computer set up and right over. And there's your new hard drive and it looks exactly like your old computer. So backing up saves time and money and a lot of time trying to recreate everything. So you got to be proactive. You really want to protect your digital life from any kind of unexpected mishaps. We never know when things are going to happen. And once it's set up, which is really no big deal, you don't even have to think about it because I back up every night at the same time. And that's great. That's in the cloud. And every time I save something on my hard drive, it immediately backs up to my external drive. And I don't even have to think about it. So you need a strategy. You need to decide what it is you need to back up. So backing up protects us against losing every single thing we've ever created or we have stored on our hard drive. And it reduces our downtime. Oh my gosh, you're on a deadline for something. You are in charge of the, reunion with the relatives. And they're counting on you to be the person that does a certain job. You can't access your data. And so your part of the reunion just kind of falls apart. But if you'd had a backup, boom, no problem. You can quickly restore everything exactly the way it was in the first place. Gives you security, and again, it saves you money. And what it does is if you don't already have a gray hair, white hair, it saves you from, your hair standing on end and you looking at yourself in the mirror and say, gee, I look a little bit older now because I'm in such a panic, I've lost all my important stuff. So some of us still have physical hard drives, not many, but we still do. And if you hear strange noises, you turn your computer on and you hear click, click, click. Or if your computer is very, very slow and you have done everything that you have learned at your CKCS meetings and the hard drives clean, well, your system's having a problem accessing the data. And the reason I'm so adamant about backing up is I was the chair or co-chair of the Southwest Technology Conference down in San Diego, even though I live 2 hours from San Diego, for 20 years. And then I took it to Cal Poly Pomona for 3 years. And twice I lost my hard drive. So I'm speaking from experience. And the first time I would turn on my computer and I would hear click, click, click coming from the floor. I had a tower. And so I had a couple that were my brainstorming duo, and he had a tech business. And I called Jerry and I said, hey, Jerry, hearing this really strange sound when I turned my computer on. And he said, so Judy, your hard drive's dying. Do you back up? And I was embarrassed to say, you know, over 25 years ago, nope, don't. And he said, well, you better start, but right now you need to buy a new hard drive and we'll get it put in and I'll set you up to back up. And if I had lost everything and not called him about the click, 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 I would have had to cancel the conference, because that's where all the conference registration, the information was. We had had money coming in for registration. I would have needed to send everything back, and we would have been in debt to the Town and Country Hotel in San Diego, because we had to give them, money to, save our place, start our meal selections and things like that. And that's the money that I would have to get back to the attendees. So you can see how important backing up is. I have lost another, we call those platters, in my lifetime. But by then I was backing up, so I was good to go. I didn't panic all over the place. So does your hard drive crash every once in a while? Do you open up something and that's corrupted? Or you're getting error messages related to your hard drive? You need to think about replacing it. And of course, you're going to replace it with an SSD drive if you possibly can. And that's something for you to talk about at your help sessions that you have. So back up, back up. Here's an SSD, new kids on the block, so to speak, and they're more reliable than our physical hard drives, but they still can fail, and you're not going to get a click, click, click. You have problems when you are starting your computer. It is booting up. Is your computer slower than usual, and you think, oh my gosh, this is driving me crazy? Well, the drive might be having trouble, and we don't know that much about what happens under the hood usually, but it's a word to the wise. Think about these things if they're happening. Say something to somebody. That's why you belong to the Central Kentucky Computer Society. They are there to help you. And if you get the ever popular blue screen of death, we don't see that very often, but if your SSD drive is failing, it sometimes pops up. You get corrupted files again, and they have something called SMART, self-monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology, and it can detect potential problems with the drive. So that's good to know. But if it says, psst, you've got something wrong here, you might think, ooh, I listened to that presentation Judy gave, and maybe my SSD drive is dying. Ask for help. Can viruses come in and get rid of every single thing on your hard drive? You, I'm sure, have been told a gazillion times, like my club members have, do not click on anything in an email from anybody you don't know, etc., etc. But it looks intriguing, and you decide to, just for grins, and you download a virus. And all of a sudden, your whole hard drive, all your data is trashed. If you don't have a backup, the trash is going to be thrown out, and you're going to have to start from scratch, creating everything new. Sometimes they encrypt your files. That's the ransomware. Like I said, FBI says, please don't bother to pay. You may not, they know they've got a sucker who is willing to fork over money, and they may give you access to a little bit or none of your data. You've probably had a presentation or two on cybersecurity from Bob Gostica, and his backup practices. Every Friday night, he unplugs all of his computers, gets totally out of the internet, and he backs up what he does on Friday night. And whatever backup program he uses, he gets it going and plugs in his external hard drives. He leaves them unplugged because if you get a virus and your external hard drive is plugged in and on, the virus can say, just got taken care of all the hard drive in the tower or in your laptop. And oh, look, an external hard drive with data is plugged in. Let me just whip right over there and muck with all the data that you have backed up. So he suggests only have your external hard drive plugged into your computer when you are actually backing up. So you should have multiple backup solutions. You should have a cloud storage, your local external hard drive, and that way you'll have a backup even if you temporarily lose access to the internet. Okay? It's called the 3-2-1 rule. Of course, there's a rule out there, and it says backup strategy that helps ensure the safety and recoverability of your data. And you go, whoopee. So keep at least 3 copies of your data, separate copies. I love it because I have had people say, yes, I back up. And I say, where do you back up? Oh, I back up on my hard drive in my computer. And I'm thinking, okay, get a grip here. If your hard drive gets infected, your regular C drive is going to be infected. And if you are backing up to your D drive, it's going to get infected too. So that's not an effective backup. You need to have, again, external plugged in and hopefully something in the cloud. And when the president of our group way back in the day, we lived in Santa Clarita and the next valley up was Antelope Valley. He backed up and he had a daughter in the next valley up. She got a copy of the backup when he did it. I mean, he went so far because we're on an earthquake fault too. Disaster, he wanted his data offsite. So she got it when he did his system backup. So backing up to your external drive is a good strategy, easy to use. Make sure if you buy one larger than your hard drive. If you have a terabyte hard drive, you want to buy a 2 terabyte external drive. And it's there, it's plugged in, be like Bob G. Unplug it when you're not backing up. However you set it up, you decide Wednesday night, I don't do anything Wednesday night. That's going to be by backup. I'm going to do it at 8:00 p.m. So I am going to remember to plug my external hard drive in, and my program is whatever I choose is automatically going to back it up for me, and I don't have to think about it. But yes, you do. I suggest every once in a while you create a dummy document. You put a graphic in, you do whatever, and then you give it a name that jumps right out at you. Say you only use lowercase when you are typing in the name of your document. Make it all uppercase so it jumps out at you. And put it in a folder. You're going to remember where it is. And give it a week and go into your external hard drive and make sure it is there. You want to be sure that you're doing this wonderful backing up, but it's actually working. So external drives can also fail or become damaged. So I suggest you also have a cloud backup. Just in case, with that cloud backup, you can access it from any place you'd like to in the world. So that's the 3, 2, 1. 1 is your hard drive. 2 is your external drive. Those are relatively under $70 for a 2 terabyte at Amazon, and your cloud storage. And if you decide to do cloud storage, that's one of the things you are going to ask your club members. What are you guys using? What's easy? So you can access your files anywhere with an internet connection, no matter where you are. You are on a cruise ship. in the Pacific and you need to do something with data. Well, you know, it's up in the clouds, you can do it. It's automatic. Once you set it up, you don't have to think about it. But again, I'd create that document with the all caps heading and everything, just to make sure that it is working exactly how it's supposed to. You can easily, if all of a sudden somebody sends you all these gazillion photos and said, hi, you get to be the caretaker in the family of the photos, and you go, oh, wonderful. You can buy more cloud room, and it's good. Redundancy, that's what it is all about. Backup services, security, people say, is it really safe to put my stuff up there? Well, you're going to ask, again, here's your club member. What are you guys using for the cloud? You want something that people who know all about this kind of stuff have sourced for you, and they've gone into it and they've researched it, and they have found a cloud service that they really like. And if it's ease of use is what you're looking for, how easy it is for me to use it. Am I going to be able to use it? And so you don't want a fly by night. You don't want something that just started business 2 weeks ago or even 6 months ago. You're going to want something that has been around for a while and has an excellent track record. What do you need? You need a reliable internet connection. So Google Drive. If you are a Gmail person, you automatically have 15 gigabytes of free storage space. They have more storage space that you can buy. When I was up at Googleplex after one of the San Diego conferences, and Googleplex is in Mountain View, California, and I was chatting with folks up there. They were giving us a tour, Judy and Jerry, my brainstormer, and me. And I said, okay, my Gmail, where is it? And they said, oh, it's here, there, and everywhere. All of your Gmail and whatever you have associated with your Google Drive, it is this server somewhere, this data server, some of it's in Oklahoma where Bill James lives, some of it's in Oregon or wherever. We do not put everything in the exact same place, just for them, just in case. You might be a Dropbox fan. You can use that as a cloud service. You might be like Bill James, Microsoft services all the way. He uses OneDrive. He synchronizes, and he uses that for synchronizing. He has a Windows laptop, a mini Mac, a Chromebook, and his phone. And he has everything in OneDrive. And if he needs to, he's on the road, he's going to France. I said, gee, I'd like you to give your dark web presentation on March 22nd at our Saturday Safari. He says, going to be in France. And I had forgotten he and a bunch of his new buddies in Oklahoma City are going to France. And he will have his phone with him. He will be able to access everything that is on his OneDrive account because it's up in the cloud. And if you have 365, you get a terabyte at least of space. You can buy more. You can buy more Google Drive space if you decide to use Dropbox and you need more space. It's pricey. OneDrive and Google Drive aren't pricey. Amazon has a drive for cloud storage. You might be, and I imagine many of you are, Apple people, and you've got your iCloud. Other people recommend a Backblaze. One of my members had it, and he said, oh, this is so slow. And he changed his over to what I use. And again, the best cloud backups, something that you need. If you only deal in simple, that's exactly what you want to ask. I want a good one, you guys, but I need to have it very easy for me to do because I'm not the most techie person in the whole free world. Your club members can help you with that. You have to decide, do you want to back up more than just your documents and your photos, etc.? Do you want to create a system image? I never do this. If mine absolutely died, I personally would just go out and buy an up-to-date computer. I always used to do that when I taught classes, which was an easy thing to say, oh, I'm teaching these classes, so I need to get a new computer. So the system image is everything. You turn your computer on and everything that makes your computer work is your system image. And you can make a complete copy of that along with your data. And if you have to get a new hard drive because yours died, you've got everything right there to set up your new computer. Again, choices. You need to make the choices that work for you. You can decide whether you want an incremental backup or a differential. Incremental says, I only want you to back up the changes that I made to a file. I had my backup program, my cloud program pop up and it said, we backed up 18 files for you. I said, thank you very much. So it's a regular basis. Again, mine is every single night at 5 o'clock. It's in the background. I just keep working on the computer. No harm, no foul. Doesn't slow anything down. It just happens. But what you want is you want to be informed that that backup worked. I get an email that says, hi, Judy, you have this many documents backed up. We had 18 documents that you needed to back up. I had either changed something or they were new. And we backed up 18 documents for you. And you clap your hands and you say, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me know. And then you delete the email. And the same thing for me happens the next day. Differential, and it backs all the changes made to a file or system since the last full backup. I don't use this. I do incremental. But again, you need to decide which way you want to do it. Perhaps your society members think this is the way to go. I don't know, but you have to make the decision. And backing up and synchronization, people kind of get those mixed up. And backing up is, again, creating a copy of all of your data and sending it someplace. And either the whole thing or just a copy of it. That's just to protect your data. Synchronization, which is what Bill James lives and breathes on a daily basis. 2 or more devices or location have the same up-to-date version of a specific set of files or folders. And again, when he is in France or he goes, oh my gosh, well, no, he won't go, oh my gosh. He will need to put together his weekly Computer Club of Oklahoma City message to the members about what the meeting is going to be. And I bet you anything, he's going to do that with his phone using Microsoft Word and then MailChimp. And off it will go. If he had his mini Mac or his Samsung laptop, he could use those just as easy, but he can use it. He can do that with his Samsung phone. And I don't ever go anyplace. I don't need to do this. I don't need to synchronize anything. I'm just happy having a cloud backup. But back in the day, my middle kid moved to Colorado, Denver, 30 miles south, Parker. I went to help them get set up and everything, as did my her mother-in-law. And we flew, she drove with her son. And it was time for APCUG's Las Vegas conference. And people said, Judy, how can you do that? You have all the information on your computer. And I would, of course, have taken my laptop up to Vegas with me in the whole 9 yards. And I said, no problem. I unplugged my external hard drive and took it with me. Now I would either be doing it, but this was way before we'd ever heard about doing things like this. But I plugged it in. The first thing I did was, hey, Stacy, can you set up your laptop, please? I need to, plug in my external hard drive. So I would do that with synchronizing someplace or backing up in the cloud and accessing it from there. So again, there's Dropbox, Google Drive. He also uses Dropbox for various and sundry things, and Google Drive. But mostly he's a Microsoft kid. And John Kennedy says, I use Free File Sync because his name is Free John. And if you are interested in this, he has a really good presentation about Free File Sync. And it's open source, so it doesn't cost anything. And I would say there are a great many members who attend our Wednesday workshops that are, especially on the third Wednesday, the Linux workshops, they use Free File Sync. Doesn't cost any money. They're a happy camper and they swear by it. You've got your iPhone. You're going to use what's connected with that with your iPhone and using your iCloud. And again, I'm sure Joe has demoed this many times on how you back up. And if not, you have an Apple SIG. So those people are going to say, you got a question? Hey, I've got an answer for you. And they'll help you figure out how to do this. You also can use a USB cable and you can back everything up to your computer's hard drive. And if you are using you have your external drive, that what you just saved to your hard drive from your phone gets backed up to your external hard drive, and it gets backed up to the cloud also. And that's that slide. And you have an Android, easy peasy with that. Again, you can back up using Google Drive, but you have 15 gigabytes. Back in the day, you used to get a whole bunch. And if you have your photos up there, again, you might run out of that 15 gigabyte space, but you can buy more and it is relatively inexpensive for a year's worth. Or you can use that USB cable and you can add it to the information on your physical drive, whether it be a disk or an SSD drive. Okay. And of course, with the Android, since there's nothing the same with it, each service that you've got, if you have a Samsung or you have a Pixel or whatever, they're going to be different, unlike the Apple. And I'm open for any questions you might have. And I will say the cloud service that I use is called iDrive. It is usually one up at the top when you search and I search in full sentences. I would tell my students keywords. Think of the keywords that you want to find out about. And I thought, keywords. And if I asked Janet something, I would ask her in a sentence. That's how I ask Google. And I just type the whole sentence out there and I figure, oh, Google can pick out what it wants. But if you do, what are the best backups? iDrive is usually up at the top. You can get specials on them. It's $99 a year for 5 terabytes. We really don't need 5 terabytes. And I started out with 1 terabyte, which is what they offered back in the day. And sometimes you can get the first year for $4.95. And what they have, and I don't know if other cloud services have that, is they will send you an external hard drive. Because can you imagine how long it would take you to back everything up over your internet connection, especially if it's not the fastest one in the whole free world, to Calabasas, California, which is just right over there. I love the fact that it's homegrown. And so they will send you a SSD backup. You plug it in and you start your backup. And then when you're finished with it, post each page, put it back in the box, you send it to them, and they will put it into your account on their data server network, wherever it is, which I think is way cool. And I don't know how the other cloud services do that, but that's the way iDrive does it. And they aren't really, John Kennedy doesn't recommend them for Linux people. He's tried working with them, and their focus is Mac and Apple, I think, mostly. A lot of the people in APCUG are using Proton out of Switzerland. They do not care who you are, where you are, what you're uploading to them, but it's quite expensive. It's like $279 for a lifetime for X amount of terabytes. But if you take, you know, iDrive, that's 3 years of iDrive. If you get in with $495 or $795 at the beginning. So these are the kinds of things you need to think of, and where you're going to reach out to your people are the techies in your group. They've been there, they've done that, and they love to share. So does anybody have any questions? Have I convinced anybody that they should back up? And I have to tell you, March, APCUG Wednesday workshops are all around backing up in March. I feel so strongly about it. And since I'm the one who came up with the idea and does it and everything, we do a lot of different backing up workshops in March, just because I almost lost everything and would have had to cancel 2 conferences. So I've been there. You might not ever have that happen in this or any other lifetime, but you don't know. And it's just in case. You don't want to come unglued. That's a technical term, by the way. So anybody have any questions?
Judy,
Yes.
I do. I'm Bev Hilton. And I know when I worked at the University of Kentucky and all of this first started many years ago, backing up to the cloud, I was told, oh, I wouldn't put anything on the cloud.
Do we have any
Not
questions?
secure at all. Pardon me? So
Are you all able to hear me?
That was Ben. That was Ben. And again, you've got, you know, I'm sure when you have presentations, people will say, do you have any, and they say, does anybody have any questions? Bev raises her hand and says, how safe is backing up to the cloud? And they're going to let you know. Have you heard of the password manager program called LastPass?
yes.
Okay. Everybody liked it because it was free. Okay, that was the first thing. And we call you guys user groupies, and user groupies don't like anything over $19.99 if they have to buy something. They always want something on sale. And LastPass was free. And every once in a while you'd hear, somebody targeted LastPass, but nothing happened. Okay. The last time they got hit, people actually got usernames and passwords. And the people in APCUG went, oh my gosh, they'd used it for years. They all went to some program called Bitwarden. Again, open source. They all migrated over there and it went seamlessly. So that happens. But you don't, like I say, you don't want to fly by night. But the thing is you have a username and password in your cloud account. You know the drill. Don't use anything you've used before. No your name, no pet name, no blah, 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 blah. Use a passphrase. I have a friend who has every single one of her passwords has to do with nursery rhymes. My goodness, that lady knows the titles of all of these. And she uses a first initial and throws in some numbers and boom. But it's your responsibility to make sure that you access your account with a username that you haven't used every place on all your accounts and a really nifty password. Because this is what happened with LastPass. The people that had that, they didn't get their data touched. So that's on you. Any other questions?
Hey, Brookie, were you going to address the chats?
Yeah.
Um,
Edith, you're on.
Edith has a question.
Mhm.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if it's, or why it's not possible for the laptop or the computer to back up to a cloud service or backup service like the phone and the iPad do.
Oh, it does. That's what I'm doing. I'm backing up to Calabasas down the road down here in the cloud. And I've set it up so it happens automatically. It's not iCloud. It's not Google Drive. It's one that I have personally chosen for my data.
Yeah, okay.
You're not going to, so you got apples and oranges here.
Mhm.
And so it would be delightful if we could back everything up, but also you only get so much space with your phone backup. And sometimes if you have to buy more space from them, it's quite pricey. I've got 5 terabytes over here at iDrive, although I don't need it, but a lot of people need that much space. And they're paying $100 for it and they're happy campers.
Edith, one thing I do is I use OneDrive and it backs up everything I do on my computer because I've got Microsoft.
You can set it automatically, just like the other, because I've looked for that and I haven't been able to find it, but I'll pursue that. I just want to know I could, and then I will follow.
That's what OneDrive is for. It is not a backup. It's not classed as a backup program. If you start using OneDrive, all of your data is going up there. You are no longer working on your C drive. I won't do that. I don't use OneDrive because I trust Microsoft, but I don't trust them that much. And so you will find if Bill James were to give you a presentation and you were to see his C drive, where all of your drives are listed, C, D, X, Y, Z, whatever you have, you will see a cloud. That lets you know all of that data is in OneDrive in the cloud. It is not on your hard drive. He has never, ever used his computer without using OneDrive because he is a Microsoft kid. He's younger than I am. And he just always has used that and he's happy with that. He thinks I'm crazy. I really don't care. I prefer not to use that. It's my decision. It's your decision.
And so you use one what?
I have an external hard drive. It's plugged in. It's sitting right down here on the top of my tower and it's plugged in all the time. And again, when I create a document, it immediately gets backed up. That comes from when I was putting curriculum together for my classes. If I was going to do the blood, sweat, and tears and do the screenshots and all the steps and everything, and something happened to my computer, I wanted what I had done backed up, even if it wasn't finished.
So you leave your external hard drive plugged up all the time.
Like you're not supposed to, according to Bob G, but I take that choice. I'm very careful where I go on the internet. I don't ever click on anything that I shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah. At work, I worked in the legal department, and all of a sudden I had all this stuff doing this on my screen, and I went, it was back in the CRT monitor days, so here it is, and I'm going, good Lord. The attorney comes out and says, what's wrong? And he's looked at that, and I had just gone to a website and hadn't clicked on anything, but was just passing through. Boom, I got this. And every time I clicked on the X, it started it over again. We're taught, click on the X to close something. And it just started it all over again. You couldn't get out any place, and the stupid company didn't have much of an antivirus, obviously, coming in the door, or I wouldn't have gotten that. And so literally I ended up unplugging and then plugging it back in. And if you do that and it says, would you like to restore where you were? Most people go, oh yeah, I want to go. And no, you don't, because if you restore, yes, Edith, you get the virus again. God. And then you realize, oh, I'm supposed to say no. So you never know when you're going to find something like that. And that's only happened at work. It has never happened at home, because I have the firewall, I have the antivirus that is good, I keep it updated, I use Patch My PC to keep all of my apps other than my Microsoft programs updated, because people that do viruses look for people who have programs that they don't update, and there's a backdoor in. And if you have backed up someplace, you're a happy camper. You have to decide how you want to do it. An external hard drive, the cloud. You've already got your iCloud. That's where all your phone stuff is. It's up in what, Cupertino or someplace like that, maybe.
Well, you have that hard drive attached. Then what is your other backup?
iDrive in Calabasas, cloud.
Okay, so how does it get there? Do you send?
They have an app, but okay. You click on, hi, I'd like to do this now. And you click on start. You got to, sign up, choose a username and a password, pay them your money. And then, like I said, they will send you an SSD drive so you can just do it at home.
And is in addition to the one you have.
No, and then you send that back to the company, and then they populate your place on their server.
No.
Because you don't want to spend 2 days transferring data via the internet, no matter how fast your connection is, because you have so much on your hard drive. I don't know if other companies do that in the cloud, but the other thing is make sure with your cloud backup, you get proof that it worked. Like I said, I get emails every single day after they're done, letting me know how many documents I have up there, files, how many new ones they found on my hard drive that hadn't been backed up or had been changed, and that those are now with iDrive.
Judy?
Yeah.
I use iDrive also, but I didn't have to back it up initially with an external hard drive. I just connected through the internet and it backed up my computer.
And how many years ago was that?
I would say it was maybe 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. Well, this is just something. If I were to have done that, I have thousands of documents on my hard drive. You would have photos. I don't. And it would have taken me eons to do it. And if I chose not to. But again, when I did it, it was years ago when it was 1 gigabyte and it was $2.95. It wasn't even near as expensive as it's not $99 when I first joined. I've had iDrive, oh Lord, since maybe 2015.
Yeah.
I just like it because it's homegrown. It was just, 2 valleys west of me. But again, it is usually close to the top when what are the best cloud backups. So obviously there's a bunch of people in AT&T that really like it.
Someone made a comment about Apple storage. Apple for the iCloud gives you 5 gig free. And if you need more space, you can get 50 gig for 99 cents a month. And if you need more, you can get 200 gigabytes for $2.99 a month.
Yeah, that's what I have. But I'm still
So again,
confused.
so that's for your phone.
Yes.
That's not, but Joe, if you're using a Mac, are you backing up to iCloud with your Mac? I don't know.
Yeah, they do. They sync, but
Okay.
I don't know anything about Macs.
Really?
Really.
Dude, you are a Mac
I've asked
guy
him that
through
before.
and through.
And I'm staying there.
He's actually
Whoa.
he's a PC person. He's not an Apple person,
Okay.
except for the iPhone and
Yeah.
iPad. Yeah. So Edith, it's the iDrive is real simple. You just sign up and then just follow their instructions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Judy, I cannot remember now how often I have iDrive backing up. How
I
often?
just have it, like I say, I have it back up at 5 o'clock every day.
Every day.
And that was because of my curriculum, literally. Do I need that now? No, but I don't pay anymore because it's backing up at 5 o'clock every day. I'm just looking for the email that pops up and gives me the information, and I say, thank you very much, delete. And again, no matter what cloud backup you choose, you need to have something like that because it proves to you that it's actually working. You don't want to keep backing up and something happens and you find the last 3 weeks of backups aren't there. Something happened. So you need to make the funny document and then you have to check it out. And again, their customer service or their tech support at iDrive is excellent. And if you forget, you fall off the turnip truck and you forget how to access your account, they'll help you. And when you look at what, it is, the interface is very familiar.
That's
to you. It's
iDrive.
Yeah, with iDrive.
iDrive, okay. Well, I'm still a little confused
Okay.
in that during the program, you said you needed 2 or 3 ways to back up. And so I was assuming that you had a hard drive that was the external hard drive hooked up. That's number 1. No?
Your hard drive is number 1. Your working hard drive, the one that you're working
that's in the computer.
in the computer.
Okay.
Number 2 is your external.
Yeah.
Number 3 is your off-site. That's the point. Off-site in case of disaster.
Okay,
And that's your cloud.
That's the cloud. Okay. So the internal hard drive, the external hard drive, and the cloud.
Yes, and a lot of people don't do the cloud. They don't. I have 2 people in my group, they wouldn't touch the cloud with a 10-foot pole. And I say, why? After all this time, I've been preaching all of this, and they don't trust it. They can't actually tell me why they don't trust it.
Somebody told them.
But they just don't. And I mean, and the wife of one says, but what about all the photos? Because she worked for Princess Cruises. So back in the day, before COVID, they cruised like crazy at a discounted rate. And he just can't budge him. It's his thought, where do you put it? And he literally takes it piece by piece and puts it on flash drives, which is the worst thing you can do it because flash drives die and you don't even know they're dead until you plug it into your USB slot and you can't access it. But he does it piece by piece by piece.
So Judy, that was my point in my question. So you're saying that if you do back it up to the cloud, you need to have a good passcode, passphrase, whatever, to keep it secure.
Not one that you've used before. I'm SCV Judy all over town. I've been doing this so long, I tell people I'm on all the bathroom walls on the internet. We did not know any better back in the day, back in the DOS days, back when we first got onto the internet. We didn't know until all of a sudden, and then it was too late. So don't use the same username. Don't use SCV Judy. Feel free, but don't. And don't use anything from any password you have ever used before. Write it down, hide it in 13 places in your house so you don't forget it, whatever. But just make sure it is very secure. And if they get hacked, nobody's going to get your stuff.
Janice Mitchell had a question in chat, and we're almost out of time, so I wanted to see if we could get to hers.
Okay.
Janice, you want to unmute?
Is that JM? She's got something else open at her place. Janice, no, I can't, because I would have to go into iDrive to do it. I don't see anything. I just set it up. And I do have to be honest with you, and Joe knows about this. I am using the old Windows 7. You remember Windows 7 backup feature to back up to my external hard drive. Joe could demo that for you. If you have Windows 10 or you have Windows 11, you can still use the tried and true Windows 7 backup in that operating system that is gone. But that is still a feature. He could show you how to set it up. He's a teacher. He gives his workshops. That's exactly what he's doing. He could make a handout and say, step 1, click here. It's going to be under storage, and so on. And once you set it up, you don't have to think about it again. It just does it. So if that's something that you need done, see if something like that, simplistic, could be scheduled. And again, any program that you use, people like Macrium Reflect, it used to be free. They still love it. And the way you do it really is you look for something that gives you a free trial. And I need something that I don't read instructions. I have to natively be able to do it. I install it, I look at it, and I go, okay, fine, this is what you do. Did I teach my classes that way? No, I had a handout, no book, but I had a handout with graphics, screenshots, and steps on how to do everything. And I taught a gazillion classes, and they all got it that way because I'm a hands-on visual person. If somebody took my classes that needed a book, they were out of luck. But again, you need to have somebody demo it for you and then give you a handout and say, Janice, here you go. Call me if you need help.
So Janice has written to us and says that she will meet us at iHelp and Dr. Fix-It on a Saturday, and we'll help her with it.
Outstanding. See, there you go. Your first outreach is your help desk. Literally, that's what they're there for. And you just walk in and say, hi, I'm the head dummy. I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing. Can you please help me with fill in the blank line? Feel free. Whenever I call tech support any place, I never tell them all I know. I'm the head dummy when I get there. I want to hear what they have to say. They might have a different way of doing something. Joe might have something. Lynn might have a different way of doing something. And she's talking about something and my light bulb goes on and I go, oh, you know, that's just so much more easy than the way I'm doing it. I'm going to do it Lynn's way now. So you need to be open to stuff like that. So the fact that you pay, how much are your dues?
$40 per year.
$40. Do you know how much it would cost if you actually had to hire a tech person to show you how to do this? The benefits of belonging to a tech group. Take advantage of them. That's why you're paying your money. And they're more than happy to share their knowledge because it's so cool to be able to do that.
That's true. That's true. Well, we are close to 8:30, and I want to thank you, Judy, for spending time with us this evening. It was great.
Could I talk about 3 quick things?
Sure.
Okay, number 1, everybody that is on this meeting should have set up an IRS account. You should have set up a Social Security account. I do not care if you ever use them, but you need to set them up before some bad guy sets one up and says he's you. Does that happen? Absolutely. I've given you guys my digital asset program, I believe, and I gave it to a group in California. This guy raised his hand and he said, one or the other, somebody set it up and said it was his used his name and found the Social Security number. He says, I've been working on it a year. And he says, I still can't convince them that it's really me, not that other person. Y'all have some kind of house or something you own and you have a title deed, whether it's paid off or not. You need to find where you live in LA County, it's the tax assessor, okay? And you need to ask them or look on their website how you would find out if somebody is trying to get your deed to your house in their name. Super easy to do. FBI, I'm a member of the LA FBI Senior Scams Working Group. I have no clue how I was asked to be on that, but it's really fun. And the scam is growing and it doesn't take long. Nobody has to see you. They use online forms and you get a letter that the LA tax assessor says might get to you in 30 days. By then, your house is gone. You no longer own it. So you need to ask, do you have an email system or texting system that if some actions comes on my title deed, you will let me know? You don't want a letter. New York has just put this in as of January 1st. I got my email from the tax assessor in January of 2023. I said to myself, how did they get my email address? That was the first thing. And then the guy mentioned it. And I sent the information out to everybody that I could think of. I was the only person who had gotten that email. And I immediately signed up for the email way because this is happening all the time. And they're looking for seniors. They're looking for people with rentals. They go after the rental that you might have someplace. So you need to, if they are not into the email or the text, you need to start lobbying to get that in. So you find out instantly that somebody is mucking around with your deed. They might change it to their name, borrow umpteen gazillions, hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. You find out about it. Guess who's liable for it? You are. We don't know who they are. And again, it's all online. Nobody needs to apparently to walk in and say, Hi, here's my driver's license. Here's my passport. It's really me. All online. So I'm off my soapbox now for those things, but those are extremely important.
Yes, we had a presentation last month with AARP, and that gentleman talked a little bit about the IRS number to get your PIN. So
Yeah, again, I don't care if you ever access it for anything. You want to be you and not somebody else be you. And that is so easy to do. It's like the health business down in Florida where umpteen gazillion million social security numbers are now up on the dark web. And they're open and they can be accessed by anybody, and they have your social security number, the whole 9 yards. So you need to protect yourself every single way you can. And you should tell your friends, your relatives, your kids, your grandkids. They need social security and IRS accounts too, just in case.